Okay, so we'll continue that data pages walkthrough. So in the last session we discussed we have two types of data pages. One is lookup and a list data page, and we have seen what is the difference between thread, request and node. Let's open those data pages. So as I said, data page just for holding the data, but we need to give who are getting the data. So we have different sourcing mechanisms. So we need to configure the sourcing mechanisms. So now you can see for the page, this is the page definition. So we have seen the page definition. Now we need to see data source. So where the data is coming. So you just store the data, but you need to give the data. So from where we are getting the data. So we have this. So as I said, we can get the data from external source. We can get the data from report definitions. We can use some other tools. These are the things we need to discuss now. So you can see for the lookup data page, this is a lookup data page or single instance data page. You can see these are the sources: connector, data transform, lookup, activity. So connector is a rule where you can connect to some external systems. Like you can see, you can connect to JCA, Java, REST service, web service, .NET, SAP, and you can get the data from them. Data transform is like once the data is available on the clipboard. So if you want to manipulate that, if you want to build some logic around that and give a resource, you can build that one. But data transform won't get the data from outside the Pega. Data transform will farm the data within if the data is available on the clipboard, then and that data if you want to give as a source, then you can use data transform. But data transform won't get the data from outside the world. So lookup. So lookup will be useful basically what we call. So to open a single record of a particular class. Let's say you want to get, we are saying if you have a list of records, I want to open single record. So this is for that purpose. Lookup will be useful to open a single record of a class. You need to give the class name. So obviously this should be the same class. And then we need to provide the parameters. So when I say this one, so definitely some ID should be there for this. So we need to give ID as a parameter. You can see parameters are already defined for this lookup database PYID. And then you need to pass that PYID here. And then PYID is nothing but a product ID. If you pass the product ID, wherever the product ID is same, then that will be fetched. And then activity. So activity is something, generally we use for the building the business logic. There we can connect the data, and whatever you want to do in Pega, you can do using activities. Like you can connect to database and you can get the data, or you can call some services and you can get the data. So by building some logic, if you want to, in the logic itself, you want to get the data and give a resource, you can use this one here. But here, system is, because this is a lookup database, because this is a single instance database, system is already configured with lookup. You can see parameters, you are passing param.pyd. So already parameter is there, PYID, product ID, we can say here, so that is passed here. That is for lookup database. If we see for the list database, the source, there is slight change in the source. The lookup is replaced with the report definition. So rest all things are same, connector is same, data transform is same, activity is same, but you can see report definition. Report definition is something to retrieve the multiple records. Report definition is a rule which will retrieve the multiple records from the database. So if you want to see the high level, generally we discuss this about report definition reports class. So there is a multi-purpose for the report definition. So report definition can be used to generate the reports for the manager, as well as you can also use report definition as a rule in the development process. So this is the report definition, and we are just giving the class names here, sorry, property names here. But every class will be mapped to the database. So what system will do internally is system will open this corresponding database table. So for this class, some database table will be there. So test connection, this is mapped to this database table. So what this report definition will do is, and this column is, this property will map to corresponding column in the database table. Like that, every property here is mapped to some corresponding column in that table. Now what it will do is it will just get the data from the database. But as a developer, he don't know that we are getting the data from the database, but it is actually getting the data from the database based on this column source. So this column source is equivalent to the properties. That is why we don't directly work on the database, rather we work on the classes. So where this is a class, we are giving the properties, but actual data will be there in the database that will fetch the data. You can also run it. So data is coming. So this data, whatever the data this report definition is giving, this will be given as a source to the data page. So we'll discuss more about report definition, the reports concept. Sorry. So you can give that as a source and you can get the data. If you open this, so you can see if you can also provide a filter. Already we have seen the filters. So we need to provide the filters to filter the data. If you want to use this, and if you want to pass any value from the UI, and based on that you want to filter, so you can pass it by which parameter you want to filter. You can pass it as a parameter. So in that case we have seen like category we are passing as a parameter for the report definition as well, or category name we are passing category to get the parent categories, or to get the subcategories, to get the product price where we are passing the product category name. So like that, so based on what you want to filter is nothing but the results won't fit, the result will be there. So if you run the case, so once you get the result, the filter will work. It's not like directly from the database that the result will be fetched, but the filter will work in such a way that all the records will be there. It will be fetched by report definition, but once it is fetched, filter, you can say any category is there. So you can give your own category. If you pass PAPPL from the UI, you will get only this data. But it doesn't mean that the remaining data is gone. The remaining data is also there, but this particular scenario, you are providing the filter. Based on the filter, we will filter this one. And then we'll discuss more about this in the report definitions. So, but here just remember we are just getting the data from the database and then giving as a source to the data page. And then you can see load management. We are saying the data is sourced, that is fine. Then how frequently the data will be loaded? How frequently the data will be loaded? So first time will be loaded whenever you refer this data page. Whenever you refer means from where you are referring this data page, from the UI, I mean as a source for the drop down or for as a source for the autocomplete for the list controls, you are referring the data page. For the first time when you refer the data page, the data will be loaded. That is fine. Then from the second time onwards, when do you want to refresh the data automatically? When do you want to refresh the data? Once the data is loaded, if you don't want to refresh the data, that is fine. If you want to refresh the data again, you can go ahead in the load management. Refresh strategies are there. We have 3 refresh strategies. So reload once per interaction. That means that whenever you refer the data page, reload again. So first time there is no reloading. First time is loaded. When you refer the first time data page, that will be loaded. From the second time onwards, we can based on the configuration, it will work. So we are saying reload once per interaction. That means that the first screen you refer data page, let's say the second screen also refer data page. Now what happens is from the second when you go for second screen, again the data will be reloaded if you select the first option. Because we are saying reload once per interaction. Whenever you refer the data page, reload the data. But if you don't check this one, data will be loaded once only. Data will be loaded once and it won't refresh the data. Even if you change that, even if the source is changing, it won't refresh the data. That is why refresh strategy is also important. How frequently, that is based on the how frequent the data is changing. So the reload once per interaction is flexible. The data is volatile. The data is changing very frequently. You can go for reload once per interaction. But when you select that one, make sure that remember that the performance of the application will be slightly reduced. The performance statistic will be reduced because you are calling the same data page so multiple times. Whenever you are referring, the database will be executed.
But Subhas, if it's kind of a stock price display kind of thing, then we have
the time you go for this. So that's what I am saying. Depends on the data.
If you are referring master tables, the tables will frequently, that means it will change once in a while kind of.
Yes, exactly. So in that case, you don't need to select this one.
Okay. Subhas, so, I have a doubt actually for lookup. Lookup means are we mapping the mapping with class, existing class or existing?
So lookup means, let me open this. You are saying about source lookup source?
Yeah.
Yeah, source lookup.
Here we selecting class name, right? The class name means existing database or what is that?
Existing data class only. What type of you are retrieving one record, right? Record means object.
Okay.
Right? What type of object you are going to retrieve?
Okay.
That is the class name. When I say object, customer name, customer is a class. So the customer object will be the name of the customer details will be there, right? So that is a record. If you want to retrieve the customer records, it means that customer is you are retrieving customer class objects.
That is fine, but somebody has to populate the values to that customer class or as product class, right? How this will be populated? Here you mentioned class name as product, no? In the lookup I'm talking about data source.
Which one? Yes, definitely. I mean, we need to. Our final aim is we need to get the data for this. We need to retrieve the data for this class of this type. Okay. So we are saying we are getting the data for single record. So single record obviously we have same type only. So given the class name, this is the class name only. If you see, you can see there STM data product. The same class name we are giving.
Okay.
Same class name we are giving, but we are saying that already objects are there in the class. So already if any objects are there in the class, I want to retrieve one object. There are many objects for the class. Let's say we have a list of candidates. So list of candidates means those are the different objects for the candidate class. Out of that I want to open one candidate. Then how can you open? So you need to open based on the key value. That is what we are doing here. The lookup we need to give the class name. So it will open a particular record based on this parameter we are passing. We are passing the ID of that one, the key value of that class, and then the system will retrieve the data and then automatically it will be copied to same class. You don't need to worry about the copy. It will automatically happy to the, because the both are same classes, you can, that is fine. Coming to refresh strategies, you can see do not reload when. So this is like conditional executing. So if you want to conditionally execute or conditional reload, not executing, conditionally reloading, then you can see you can use this option. Do not reload when. You can write a when rule that will return true or false. Any when rule will return true or false. If you have any scenarios like if the based on your business requirements, let's say the percentage is less than 90, I don't want to reload. The percentage is more than 90, then I want to reload. So in that case, you can define the condition. Do not reload when. So when do you want to reload? When do you not want to reload? So based on that, you need to return true or false. If it is true, means it won't reload. We are saying do not reload when. When the condition is true, it won't reload the data. When the condition is false, then only it returns. This is called conditional reloading. So reload if older than. So this is something like if the time gap between the two executions is more than the time defined here. So let's say at 6:33 we are executing we are referring this database somewhere else. 6:33, and now I have given 1 minute here just for testing. I am giving 1 minute here, or let's say 5 minutes here. Okay. So that means that it doesn't mean that for every 5 minutes the data will be reloaded. That is the wrong assumption. Here, reload if older than means that if the gap between the two executions is more than the time that is defined here, then only the data will be reloaded. So if I start executing, let's say at 6:34, I refer the database, and then if I refer the database, let's say at 6:35, again somewhere else in the execution. So what is the time gap between 6:34 6:35? The time gap of 1 minute. So but that is less than this one. But because this is less than this one, it won't reload the data. Let's say at 6:40 or 6:45, I am again referring somewhere else during processing my application. So the time gap between 6:34 and 6:45 is approximately 10 minutes are there. So obviously it is more than the 5 minutes, then data will be reloaded. So like that you need to see reload if older than means that between the two executions, if the time gap is more than this defined configuration, then the data will be reloaded. So any doubts here?
No, sir.
Yep. So parameter we have seen, everything is fine here. So now we have seen the list database, how to use the list database. Now we need to see how to refer the single data page. Let's say let me run the case now. Now you can see I'm selecting something here. So here I'm selecting one product, but this product have a lot of other information. I want to get this product information. So whatever the product you have chosen here, in the right hand side panel, I want to display the complete details of this product. I'm selecting just product ID, but I have product description is there, product ID is there, product price is there, weight is there, category is there, a lot of other products are there, other attributes are there. So whatever the product you are selecting here, I want to retrieve the corresponding product information. So here I'm getting single record only. I'm getting this product information. That means the single record only. To get to the single record, we can go for lookup data page. So when I say single record is a page only, right? Single record is a page. As a page, it will return the page, and then list data will return the page list. Obviously, because that is giving list of records. That is the reason we can give this database as a source for the page level page properties. Let me create one property called property what we call product details. I'm manually creating product details. I want to change it to single page. And if you see, you need to give the single page means you need to give the STM, the class we need to give. After this we know. But now we can see data access. If we are providing the data manually, like for the customer, for the address, we are manually providing the data. Manually means from the UI, we are capturing the data. In that case, you need to select the manual. So manual is by default, in order to again select it. So by default, manual, everything will be captured from the UI. That is the system assume that. But you can see refer to data page. So you can use either of these two below two options to get the data from the lookup data page and copy the data here. So that lookup, if you observe, the object for this, the class name for this and the class name for the lookup database are same, because that is also returning the object of a product. This is also storing the object of product. That means that whatever the database is returned, I can store the data in the single page of same type. So here I can refer the data page. So what is the, again we will tell you what is the difference between these two. You can see the product ID need to pass. Already we are storing the product ID. So whatever the product ID you are selecting here, so I need to pass that as a parameter. So product ID. Now it will get the remaining details, and then it will be stored into this property, the product details. Now both will, refer to database and copy data from database will also will do, the functionality will be same. But the difference here is refer to database will always get the, it is like acting as a pointer. It is acting as a pointer. You don't want to save the data within this page, but this page will act as a pointer. So this page will always point to the database. So whenever, even if the data is changing, let's say in the first screen I am referring this page, the second screen also I am referring this page. In that case, what happens is, if you use refer to database, again this will be executed. So if you use refer to database, again this will be, so the same database will be executed, again will get the latest data. So if your requirement is to get the latest data, and you can use the refer to database. Let's say I will take a simple example. You are applying for a loan. While applying for a loan, you have given some address. Some address you have given. And then during processing, you shifted your house, and then you shifted your house, and you also changed the database. The ICICI Bank database records, the bank database records. But the loan application still you are giving the old application. But if the loan application want to get, so if the loan application is designed in such a way that they want to always go for the latest address, what they can do, they can use the refer to a data page. So even if you change the address, whenever the data there is a change in the data, so let's say during at the end of the loan processing, they want to send some documents to your address, but you shifted your house. So the company don't know what they will do as a best practice or as a precaution. They always check the I will get I will retrieve the record from the database, because in the database is already updated. You will get the new address, so that the details will be dispatched to new address. But if you copy the data from data page, if you use this one, it's like a snapshot. Snapshot means it won't refer the data. It will once you copy the data, that's it. It won't call it again until if the data is, if you manually remove it, it will call it again. But if the data is already there in this page, in the product details, it won't call it again. So if a requirement is you don't have to call it again, you can go for copy from database. If you want to call it every time you refer this page name, and then you can use refer to database. But here we can go with copy data from database. You don't want to call multiple times. And then I need to use this. I need to define the UI. So let's go to UI part again now. Now I want to display these two information. This once I select this product, I want to show the remaining of the product information on the right hand side. So what I will do, I will add one more layout. I'm designing the UI according to my requirement. I will make it as a inline double, and then inside this link table I will copy this one as the first part. First part is there. And then I will add one more layout, and then side by side is coming, and I will drag the product details. So let me drag first text. You can drag like this manually. I need to configure the IDs. Now I want to fetch the product details. Dot. So when I use this word, when I use this notation, object name, automatically the database will be executed. You don't need to manually refer it. This is the product ID. And then let me drag the remaining things. Product details, category I want to show. Like this also you can do, you can drag like this. And then let's say I want to know manufacturer model number. So whichever the data you want to display, you can display that one, not all the data. And price I want to display. Weight. Display. You can configure this price. This is a number, I guess. You can make it. Numbers will always go for right alignment. I want to make it left. The weight is also I want to make it left. And if you see everything, I want to make it everything as a read only. Basically, this is not a text input. They are changing everything is text input here, but I need to make it as a read only. So I need to go to presentation tab and make it read only. Just for read only, not for updating. Now let's see this. Now whenever I change this one, whenever I change the product, I need to refresh the section so that I will see the text product information on the right hand side. And then just refresh it once again and give some headings. So it will be good. Okay, so right now product information is empty, nothing is there. Now let's select one, generators, inverter generators, portable generator. You can see what is happening. I'm getting remaining records. I just selected the ID here, but I can see category name, model number, remaining details are coming. How it is coming means based on the database. We are passing this as a parameter and we give it to the single record. and I am giving that as a source again for the page property, and I am referring the property here. That is why I can see the data. That's how you can see the data. That is immediately changes. Based on that, will immediately changes. And I need to make it left side. It will go on right side. Select it. And you can also make more user friendly, means make one more layout, or make this price and inside this one, side by side again these two. Price, weight. So we can also give dollar. We can also give like what we call, what is the, so price means just giving number is this, is dollars or whatever the currency you want to display the currency also. You can display it. I think we can give some space. It will be good. And now presentation you can change. You can also display the currency. Left symbol is currency. Local currency only I want to use. I can see the currency is coming. And then weight is in grams only, I believe. So we need to keep some advanced rounding. Left symbol, decimal rounding. GMS, grams. It's coming in the before. So you can give something like grams to reflect the grams how it will be. So you can mention like that. And if you don't want the right, left side I need.
So many errors. What?
So the constant GMS should not be a space, that is space and something is there, right?
So these errors are displaying as per the guardrails.
No, that is not guardrails. Guardrail is different. That is not the best. Guardrail is a
For this
warning.
application it is.
Error is different. Error means you are violating, not so you are check.
Okay, similar to Java.
Guardrail means you are violating the best practice.
Okay.
You are doing correct. I mean, you are doing. There is no errors in your logic, but you are not following the best practice. That's what it's saying. Okay. So this is how you can display the data, and you can, if you want to display the data in 2 lines, you can configure that one, like product ID and product name in same line. You can also do that, and then once you add it like this. So our aim is the CS if you call up the customer care, you will send the product details and you will verify the product details like this, and then we want to raise a claim for this. So we need to keep some button here added to the claim. So you can add number of products to the claim. So I want to select all the products and I want to add it to the claim. So I have to keep some button here and I want to display. I want to add these products to the claimed products list. So I need to create a pages property called as claimed products details and claimed products simply. Claimed products. This is the page list property because you can add any number of products to the claim. This is also same SCT, STM, data, products, product. Now when I click When I click, I will keep some button here. When I click the button, I will keep one button named as add to climb. Somewhere else in the bottom. Else I will keep here only. Should have there, will keep here only. Button name is add to climb, and then I want to add it to the climb. So whatever the climbs are added, I want to display it in the bottom. So for that I will use a repeat grid, because that is a, I will add it to the page layout, and then I want to display that one. Go to repeat grid and give the climbed products as a source, and then remove this header and footer. Here we are using for display purpose, not for the doing anything here. And then I want to display PYID. Here also you can drag and drop. Let me drag and drop here. So PYID product ID we cannot drag anyway. Let me give column product ID, and this is the property name we need to give in the bottom. Add. So I'm adding 5 columns like this. Now then I want to display the category name, and then I want to display the price, only these two things. And the last I want to display some delete button. So if you want to, once by mistake we add to client, and if you want to delete it, and it's some delete button. For that reason I am adding the icon, and then standard icon. So there's a delete item. Submit it. Now I have to build the logic. Now it won't be automatically added to this one, right? So I need to build some logic. When I click this button, I want to append to this one. I want to add that product to the product list. So here I want to give some heading for this again. Presentation tab, product, climb, details. Now for building the logic, for building the append this, copying this data to the page layout, we can use a new rule called data transform. So today I'll just give the demo, and tomorrow we'll discuss about data transform. On click, I want to refresh it, and I want to call it a transform. So copy, add to climb, just add to climb. This is a new rule, we'll discuss that. So I will build the logic here. So I have the data, I have the page data, and I want to append it to the page list. Simple. So what I can do, append to, it's very simple, claimed products, and existing page is there. The page name is already available, product details. I'm appending product details to claimed products, that's it. You can do a lot of actions as that we will see tomorrow. That one, let's see the logic here, and then let's refresh it once again. Now you can see claimed product details are empty, no details are there right now. And when I want to add this to my claim, So customer is ready to add this claim, so I will add to claim. You can see the claim is coming, but for some reason product ID and product name is missing. We need to see that where that is missing. Let me see in the clipboard. So clipboard is initial, that is what, so the data is not coming here. So I have to check that why it's not coming. So what I will first check, I will check the clipboard only. This is the page rich property. Here you can see the category name, the PY ID is there. PY both are there. The value is there but it's not displaying on the UI. Not displaying on the UI may be the reason why it may be the reason of the UI configuration. So let me change this control. By default it is maybe read only, and let me make it text input. This is also like that. Because those are the out of the box properties, system is not taking that one directly. So let's refresh that one. Now see, again let me add one more product. You can see again product name is missing. Product name is not coming. Let's verify that again. Clipboard. PY label is there. Maybe I have used wrong property there. That may be the reason. Let me verify that one. So I need to verify. You can see spelling is wrong. Now I'm using wrong property here. I should use PY label. Now to verify the clipboard, I need to see for the initial debugging. So most of the times we'll get the data, but if something is not fixed there, you need to go for other debugging tool. Let's refresh it again. You can see everything is coming. And moreover, if you see, this is the product name may be lengthy. What I want to do, I want to make it, I want to wrap the text. I can also wrap it so that the look and feel will be good. Otherwise, it will be sometimes the product name will be very lengthy. So what I will do, I will wrap the text. You can see it is wrapping, and then the look and feel is good. And this price is also going right alignment. I want to make it left alignment. Let's select this one. Going for left, make it left. Save it. And just refresh, select one more. Everything is coming fine. So whenever you add the claim, everything is coming fine. Tomorrow we'll discuss like what is the data transform. Once we discuss that, for each and every product, I need to raise a claim request. So this is a major claim request. Again, these are two different products. For each product, I need to raise a product claim subcase. So we have seen the case is already there, product claim. I need to generate this product claim for each and every product, and then the process will be same. That way we'll go. So tomorrow we'll see what are the different options we have in the data transform. Just we have used one action, but we'll have a lot of other things in the data transform to know. We'll see that. Okay.
Okay.
Any doubts so far? Yep.
Yeah, as of now, we'll discuss tomorrow.
Okay, then we'll see tomorrow. Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.